Yay! Welcome. Great that we're all here this evening. Super excited. You know, we are a few weeks from being here. I think we've been a month apart. And so I'd love to hear, there's only a couple of people on the call so far. So why don't we hear from you both? Just check in, tell us what's been happening in your world in relation to reality transurfing, and how is this book supporting what you might be going through in the interesting world we're living in right now. Kerry, would you start us off?
Sure. Jim said that last time, by the time we got to here, I probably would have already moved. Well, I haven't, but my place is listed and I'm looking, so that's motoring along. And I just, I don't know if it's the book or just the positive mindset. I'm sure it's got to be from reading the book. This year has been phenomenal. It's been incredible. My business is growing and stabilizing, ready for the next growth. I've been working out with a trainer for, I don't know, 3 months now, feeling fantastic. It's just, yeah, I feel so wonderfully supported by this group, but just what a gift and a blessing to have this coming together and this weird and wonderful book that just helps support along the way. Oh, and when the man next door is a huge idiot, I just shake my head and call him a pendulum tool.
Yay!
It doesn't mean it doesn't annoy me, but he's a pendulum tool.
So happy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. All right, Hudson, please do share what you will about reality transurfing and yourself.
Well, it seems up until, because we're talking about chapter 10. I haven't been here the last couple of times.
Chapter 9.
Oh, you're just on 9? I went
Mind and Soul. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I have to say from experience, I don't know, all the teachers that I've had, I am and have done what he's explaining the process is. But yeah, I don't know, I just kind of did it my own way. But yeah, yeah, in spite of everything that's going on, my life has been like a holiday. And,
beautiful.
Awesome. And staying at home has not been a problem at all. As a matter of fact, we were only just going to get food, and my higher power said it's we need to maybe hunker down here a little bit more. So we actually did have a delivery yesterday from groceries. And I really haven't had a problem. My husband's had a little bit more of a problem dealing with this. So he kind of found something that he could do to help him. And we sort of separate during the day, which we do anyway, and then, come together at night for dinner and that. And then, of course, watch TV for the evening, because what else is there to do? But I've really taken this as a time to really develop my spiritual program in my life. I consider it my life. It's now, part of my life. And I'd say, other than for a couple of days, because a couple of weeks ago, we just got word that a friend of ours died of the COVID. And so maybe that kind of had to do with us, that's really close. That it's now really, really close. And he's the third person, but he was a pretty good friend of ours that we know that has been sick, but he's the first person that we know personally, that passed over. And so I get an email every morning from the New York Times, and I read the headlines for 5 minutes, and that's it. I don't read any news. I haven't gotten really involved in politics other than voting and possibly doing some emails about things that were positive to the environment. I really have really hibernated through all this, and have kept my peace. And I realize now, that being peaceful, my peaceful energy is just as important as what's happening out there with the pendulums. And so my energy is counteracting what's happening. I really believe that. And I feel really strong and confident about it. And I'm involved in 4 other groups beside this one. And people are, really seeking a spiritual life and looking and taking responsibility for their energy, and, moving forward positively. And so, according to my shaman, it's the planets that are all getting in alignment that's causing all this. It hasn't happened for 800 years, but she says that we're moving from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, which is about community and, caring for other people. And so, that was really good to hear. But yeah, I've just decided that, what I can do is stay peaceful.
Beautiful.
And calm about everything, and that, I'm helping in my own way to do this. That this is what's most important for me to do right now.
Yay.
We're talking about this, to moving along a line that's not only, it is about, he's saying it's not about money, but mostly I did this to create finances so that I could take care of myself. If I needed to, if my husband passed on, I'd be able to take care of myself financially. But it's really interesting that through what Harb's taught and Satyan has taught, and then the other teachers that I've had, that they've had their own ways of expressing how to do this, even following unity, religious science, as far as manifestation is concerned. I had been doing this. The only thing I guess I had an issue about, I went ahead and did step 10, and there was something I didn't agree with at all. So I guess next time I'll talk about that.
We'll get a chance to get there.
Yeah, but otherwise I thought it's a really interesting way of how he's interpreting this. And it certainly is, it's just a really interesting point of view on how to do things. And I'm sure, as from what you all have studied in and have been doing it, that is just one more way, because there's, an infinite number of ways
Absolutely.
to get to this,
Absolutely. As he continues to share with us and divulge through the whole book, it's layer by layer by layer, but I'm glad that you're getting a lot out of it. Welcome, Jolanta and Coreena. We're just doing a very quick check-in, and Coreena, are you able to put your camera on and say hello? Hi. You caught you during your dinner. Please
have my lunch.
If you could just share with us just a quick insight into maybe how Reality Transfurfing is supporting you at this time.
Well, I've had a few weeks off the meetings because I've been so busy at work. But just, it's pendulums. I just kept coming back to that. I just find that it's such an equalizer. I've got the online book online, so I'm slowly going through it. I haven't caught up as much as you guys are, but I'm getting there. So I think that just to keep that equilibrium rather than go from one to another, I see it more so now, but I'm not feeling it. So it's that's with it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But I love the book. I just want to delve into it more. However, work is crazy. So
layer by layer, take it step by step.
Layer by layer, yeah. And I will have to leave early because I've got another patient coming, but I just thought I've got to at least have this little bit of time for myself during my lunch.
Perfect. Well, thank you for
thanks.
joining us during your lunch, and go ahead and grab the replay when we have it posted, so you can finish watching it.
Thank you.
Jolanta, please, if you could just briefly check in and share with us how this Reality Transfurfing is supporting you at this time. Let me unmute you. There, I've asked you to unmute. There you go. You have to do it yourself, I guess. There you go.
Well, these are a bit of challenging times for everybody, and undoubtedly for us, working in the healthcare, because there's all those extra responsibilities and sick patients and COVID and everything else. So I kind of, try to keep the reality checks. So I try not to fall unconscious, which is very tempting, especially when there is a lot of work that has to be done, and some of it can be a kind of repetitive, but we have to keep going, keep moving. So it's very important to remember whenever you can to kind of snap out of it. So I kind of have been paying attention to that, and then using a total distraction. So I would do like different creativities to get my mind off, either making a new hair formula or a new facial cream or cooking something, something to kind of, get my life on a little bit wider plane. So I'm not so confined to that single role that it's kind of challenging at this time. So that, that transurfing is very, very helpful for me.
Beautiful. Thank you. It's really good to hear each other and to glean what we're all, possibly what's supporting us. So thank you all for your shares. Anyone doing dyads, either one-on-one or facilitating possibly? No. Well, just remember anything that starts with tell me something about, so it could be you can move it into anything, but it starts out with tell me something. So that's just an easy in if you have a question and you can't quite seem to turn it into a dyad. But I'm going to pass it on to Juan, who's leading the chapter 9 review, Soul and Mind, this evening. And I look forward to being along the study with you this evening.
That's great. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you.
I'm glad to hear that you all doing well. You're all doing well. So you have your book, Jolanta? I know, Coreena, you're a little behind, but we'll go slowly. Today's oh, look, we have somebody else. So it's a great opportunity to just take it easy. We're a small group. So it's a great opportunity to dive into the material and just ask questions. And probably what I would like to do is try to make it very practical. Okay, so please make sure that that you ask questions as we move along. So the heart and mind. I know, Kerry, you read it, right? Jolanta, you read the book a few times now as well. Hudson is in chapter 10. Coreena is catching up, I know. Shauntay, hi. How are you doing? Chapter 9, you have the chance to review it?
Yes.
We just share that, well, welcome, by the way. And we just had the opportunity to share a little bit about how the reality transurfing is bring you or influence your life. Do you have any shares about that?
I guess one of the biggest things is letting go of importance for me. Just realizing how that has impacted every area of my life. Like, and practicing, especially in a relationship. I've been married for 12 years and I can make every little thing super important. And being able to practice that and just being able to let things go a lot easier. That's been really great. And I think you mentioned the heart and the mind and just I think I realized this a while ago, but it's really settling in that I have been making most of the decisions for my life out of a place of fear because it's all been coming from my head. Figuring it out, best case scenario, worst case scenario, and realizing that the times when my life was going really wonderfully and smoothly were the times when I was just really listening to my heart.
Beautiful. Thank you. And that's the perfect setup to start this chapter. That's what it's all about. Actually, you just summarized what all this is about, right? Listen to a heart, and ideally, figure out a way to make it work with our mind. So in that way, we create magic, the magic of outer intention, right? But let's dive into those concepts. I love here that everybody's focusing on different areas at a different time. Some are focusing on importance, crucial concept on reality transurfing. Some others are focusing on pendulums, all these incredible groups of organizations or so that are there to steal our energy if we're not aware. And work, by the way, is one of those, one of the biggest, right? They manage to suck everything from us because we have to do so many things, right? Because it's the right thing, because yeah. But that is the perfect example of a pendulum, okay? We have to be very smart on how we play it, right? Awareness, you mentioned awareness. It's crucial here. This is some of the elements that we've been diving throughout on the past few chapters. So consciousness, awareness. I heard you as you were sharing how even though this year has been tough, we've made it the best. We've Hudson was sharing, she made it time to dive into her spirituality, to learn, to do incredible things, right? Yes, being restricted, being in quarantine, being isolated, it's not a bad thing. It's great time to dive in, right? And grow and do incredible things, And that reminds us that we are in control in a way. We choose what game we play. If we're aware. When we're not aware, we're at the mercy of. When we're not aware, we're a pawn in the chess game, the chessboard. You're at the mercy of whatever they move us, right? Well, no, I'm a pawn. I can only move forward. It's here and there. If the person wants, whoever the player is, then I'll move in this other direction, right? But I don't know when I'm going to be exchanged. But we forget that we all have the potential in just even if we were just pawns, we have the potential to become a queen or any other powerful piece in the game. But that's not even the point, right? Since we all feel like that, that's just a little parody to that. But we're forgetting that we're not a piece on the board. We are the one. That's what Transurfing invites us to remember. We are the one that can play the game, have the potential to play the game. And this chapter continuously reminds us that we're all amazing, that we're all incredible, that we have the ability to do, create, anything we want. We have all the material, all the skills, everything for us to make it happen. But we forget. Sometimes we get in environments where we're pushed even further down. Actually, a lot of us have grown in environments when we were kids where we were told, don't think, don't do that. That's not right. You shouldn't, And our amazingness gets all limited, contracted. And remember, in the first 5 years is when most of this conditionings get set up, right? And then we keep running throughout the rest of our life doing things in some contracted, constricted ways, and we're not even aware why, but we keep doing it. Why do you do that? Because that's how I've done it. That's who I am. That's what I believe. And the invitation here is to just, be open to just look at ourselves, look at our life as if we were a character in a movie theater, right? Look at our lives that we were just observing and watching and say, you know, this is like a movie, you know. I'm a director. I'm not just the one in the movie playing that thing. I'm the director. I have the power to change things around. It's not only for those stars. In this chapter, he reminds us that a lot of us are just trying to copy others that we think are successful. We want to model the people that are successful, right? And do what they do, achieve what they do. Especially kids now, they want to copy this star, want to be like this player, they want to do this stuff. Instead of, you know, working on themselves, on their amazingness, and doing it, you know, it's okay to use inspiration, right? But it's not okay just to look forward to do something in a way that other people do. I'm going to do the way he does it, she does it, or whatever. That's when we lose our own incredible magnificence. You know, there's somewhere in this chapter where we will talk about being a star. Being the star, because becoming the star that we're meant to be, each of us. And it all starts with what? Awareness. There's this nice example of we're all together if we're willing to accept it, like an ocean of water. But at moments, the drop of water just splashes up. And that makes us, right? That gives us, I'm a drop of water. I'm a drop of water. I'm different. I'm like this. I'm cold. I'm high. I'm bigger. you know? And we forget at a given moment, we turn and we just identify with that drop of water alone. And then that drop of water may land in a surface where it's a challenge, right? Where you can move or can spread or dilute or evaporate or whatever it is that you want to imagine, you know? But it just somehow, most of us live lives where we just identify with the drop of water alone as a drop. And we forget that ability, that power that we have once we land, once we come back home to the ocean. And then what can we do when we come the ocean? Where is the drop of water when it's merging its essence? Where is it? Isn't that amazing? I love that example. This is so powerful when we're willing to accept it like that, right? So, yes, the challenge arises as you raise it when we just focus on our mind. Why? Because our mind learned a whole bunch of things. It was conditioned when we were very young, unfortunately. And most of us are not aware that that happened, and we keep doing things the same way. So the invitation, this is a new year, the end of a year, an incredible year. The invitation is to say, new year, new opportunity to question, to ask, do I need to keep doing things the same way? Do I need to keep thinking the same way? Do I need to whatever? You know, how could I make it even better? What if I could just stop, you know, and then, you know, change my story? What if what I've been thinking, believing, or doing could be different? It's just an invitation. It's different for each of us. And it's just your own way. Because the mind alone, okay, cannot do anything different but using what it knows. I give the example, the mind is like the software in a computer. If in your computer you only have Windows, I'm sorry, you won't be able to play with Apple. You won't understand the Apple software. You won't understand. It's impossible. You're Windows. Now, if you're an Apple, you cannot understand Windows. You cannot play in the same computer with that unless you have something to help you understand that. Okay. So Windows by itself is amazing. Apple by itself is amazing, but there's a restriction if you want to look at it from that perspective, right? They become drops of water, two beautiful, amazing, powerful drops of water. but they're restricted by the circumstances, their beliefs, and whatever else you want to call it. There's many more things in there. So that's the challenge with the mind. In that setting, Windows can only use Word and whatever else that it uses, that Windows does. You know, Apple has its own wonderful ways of doing things. You can only see them from that perspective. So it's limited to its language, to its parameters, to the way it's created. While the heart, the soul, you know, is just that beyond, is that part, we work on that in the previous weeks, right? Is the one that knows, is the one that connects with everything and has access to everything. Is the one that doesn't think, is the part that doesn't think. It just feels and knows. It doesn't need software to decipher this or that, it just knows. It's almost in a way, like, it's almost like the way I kind of imagine, if I could put in words, it's like the internet of things. It's like Google. When you say you want something and somehow you type it, something appears, right? It's like it knows. It doesn't need to be restricted by things. And remember, Google is restricted because we know it's restricted, but that's another story, okay? So heart and mind. So let's share. What's been your understanding of heart and mind? How do you see it differently throughout these readings? Kerry, what's your, you've read this, so yeah. I just want to make sure that we all talk, and so I don't put you to sleep. I feel like my voice today is a little bit like slow and down, so I may put you to sleep. I don't want that to happen. So Kerry, heart or soul and mind, what's your feeling, your understanding of it?
Mostly I try to keep down in the feeling and utilize the brain for the tool functions and really check in. And is this the chapter that we were really looking in gratitude? Because that's what I've been practicing a huge amount, is gratitude. And I loved how the book talks about you can reduce importance by giving credit to your angels. And I love to do that, because then you can bask in your good fortune, but give it to somebody else. And just practicing gratitude, I find, is one of the best ways that I can keep connected to my heart and keep just having these wonderful things coming. I'm so grateful I have my trainer, and I'm so grateful that the right person came to me to help me with some work I needed done just out of nowhere. Like, just, I feel like the more I'm in my heart and being loving and being grateful, the more good fortune comes to me.
Beautiful, thank you.
I was reading this morning some notes I made when I talked with Terisa in early 2018, and it's so incredible, the shift and the movement. And some of it was mindset, like that's just so completely changed some of that patterning. And so thank you all so much for that.
Yeah. You remember, that's a reminder. This is from, it keeps repeating because it's all together, right? It's all linked together. But if we think, and we focus only on negative, we tend to generate more of that. Mm-hmm. If we work, at the beginning, we have to work on it. Really, we need to focus on what's good about it. We're talking about 2020, right? What's good about this year? Oh my goodness, it's been an amazing year. You know, it's crazy. For an infectious disease doctor, COVID has been an amazing thing.
Wow.
You know, so you see how incredible things are? COVID, an infectious disease plays with infections. Here we have an incredible infection, okay, that's doing all kinds of crazy things. Well, it's been amazing, okay? It's been amazing, it's been exciting, it's been busy. In every way, it's been incredible, okay? So it's all perspective, if you could look at it like that. As Hudson was saying, it's a time to meditate. You know, most people were asking, oh, they always complain, I have no time to do anything. Now you're trapped there in your house. You know, what are you gonna do with that time? You know? So if you focus on, as you're saying, gratitude, for example, or you focus on looking at the positive even on the midst of challenge, okay, you're gonna make sure that you start generating and vibrating in that frequency where the positive, you know, and anything else that you have in your mind, okay, will manifest with ease. right? So that's one of the incredible tools of reality transurfing when we practice it. Okay, making sure that we're continuously working on what is positive about this challenging situation. What is positive about being so busy at work, right? What is positive about it? Okay, Hudson. Soul and mind. Your thoughts on soul and mind. And I love your shares, and my mind is gonna keep you sharp. So keep it sharp and concise, the best that you can.
Trying to think of an example. So I grew up using a strategy of being codependent. And at some point, I saw myself serving others because I had to do it. So then, I've been in a 12-step program for a long time, moving into the heart space. And I know some people, refer to the heart, refer to the soul. And then some people even refer to inner child, could be one of all three, or, there's different ways I think of expressing and giving it a name. But it seems like as I healed and learned how to make the connection and healed my soul, because the 12th step is about serving others, but it's now because I want to do it, not because I had to do it. And then now also I have choice, which I did not have before, with being in my heart and having a connection, to a higher power, my higher consciousness. Now I have unlimited amounts of choices. And to me, that's the biggest gift that I could have ever been given was, aside from the abstinence of refraining from my addiction, is now I have the freedom to choose in my heart, and I can listen to my heart. And as I've said before, I know I need to have my mind and my heart. I need them together to balance, my energies out. And I guess I really didn't realize that, it wasn't about money. I think I unconsciously, I got into massage and body work. And I think I really unconsciously did that to create income to pay for my own healing, because all my teachers and all the training I got, I had to get work on myself. And I always had teachers that said, well, you want to do this to somebody or help somebody with this way, but you've got to do your own work first. So I was really blessed with that. That it, you just don't get lip service from me. I knew what was happening to people, and I could go deeper with them and make heart connections. And then I believe that's why, I trust myself more. And because I trust myself more, I put that out that I just naturally trust people more. And I think that's the deepest connection that we can make. I believe that's what this is all about, is about trust. And, Harv taught us about, my word is law, that if I'm going to tell you something, I'm going to do it, stick to my commitments. Well, I had to learn first that I really did have to make a commitment to myself, which does kind of sound like mind, but I think it is at a soul level, because I believe, we have soul retrievals and that kind of thing, that the disconnection, it also, my soul was hurt too. My soul was broken too. My soul also was hurt and believed a lot of the things, that my mind was saying, and also people were telling me about who I really was. And I wasn't that person at all.
Yeah.
So, my higher consciousness, or the God of my understanding, because I started believing in and listening, you know, to that voice, you know, maybe by intuition, or every so often I do hear a word, but mostly I get a, you know, a feeling in my body that, you know, that follow this path and it will lead you, you know, to the healing and being, you know, being able to become true to myself. Yeah. And I think that's really
Beautiful.
what this is all about and what he's talking about. And of course, you know, money is important. Money is freedom. Money makes life more enjoyable. But yeah, it really is about, I think, all of us being and becoming truly authentically who we are. And that I was the first person, I have to say, I abandoned myself. And I believe that was my big hurt. And that's the hurt that I've been working on healing, you know, all these years, is taking responsibility for my energy and allowing me to emerge, which is what Terisa talks about and you talk about, and Cindy does too, is allowing, you know, my unlimited potential to shine out and just be. And of course, I can't be any better than anybody else. I'm the one who can only be me, you know, and I can be the best that I am. And I, you know, I believe that's
Thank you. That's very good. Thank you. Thank you, Hudson. So having said that, you know, we tend to beat then the mind, right? Oh no, the mind is gonna, we're restricted by the mind, the things that I learned. But remember, the mind has something that the soul does not have, is the will. The will, the power to direct. The challenge then is for us to listen, to learn to listen, what you just mentioned, Hudson. The problem is we're so tight in here with all the things that we learn, the things to do, everything, the pressures that we have outside from pendulums, we don't listen, right? We didn't listen to our soul, to our true nature, to amazingness, to that incredible beings that we are. And the invitation is to slow down and to listen to that. Because once we listen and we get that direction, that trigger of what really moves us, which is what you just shared, Hudson, you know, then the mind, you know, as it connects with it and coordinates, then takes action. Then he has the will to take the steps, to commit, to be responsible for, as you were saying, the energy, and then act towards achieving something. But if we're not aware of all the things that we've mentioned so far, you know, and then we stay occupied and we don't listen, then this is not going to happen. Now, this is not only about healing and showing our amazingness, but it's also about being able to create. Remember, reality transurfing, one of the biggest things is moving from mule to magician. Remember that concept? The mule is the one that works like crazy all the time, does this, takes care of everybody, does all the thing for everybody, you know, and understands and learn that to achieve something, you have to work very hard. The magician knows, harbors the secret, you know, on how to make whatever he or she wants become real with ease. And we've been learning how to do that, right? Through the previous chapter on slides, you know, and as we move along on goals and doors, etc. Okay. But the key element is to listen to our incredible nature. So why? Because if we listen to our incredible nature, our essence of who we are, then we're authentic. And when that authentic nature connects with a mind that is listening, and a mind that is powerful, because it is powerful, is a guide, is one that has a will to do, then magic happens. Okay. Why? Because that's the difference between internal intention or inner intention and outer intention. You all remember the difference between those two? Or anybody has any questions? Do you have any questions about inner and outer intention? This is a great moment to raise your hand. It's all clear? Thumbs up, inner and outer intention, very clear, fantastic. If you don't, please say, hey, I don't remember that. Because that's the key element on reality transurfing, how to manifest with ease. Beautiful. So your heart is as good as the heart of others. You deserve the absolute best. Do we agree? I do, we all did, right? You have everything you need. All you have to do is use it. We're not gonna drill on that. The stars are born independently, but pendulums light them up. So why do sometimes somebody becomes a star out of the blue? Because that pendulum, well, a pendulum, wants to suck all the energy that this person attracts and benefit from it. It's always about gaining energy, okay? And the more people focuses on something, whatever it could be, without being aware, they're giving their energy away, and that pendulum gets stronger and stronger, right? Again, we talk about pendulums, we talk about importance, and that's where it gets tricky. Pendulums hide the fact that every individual has unique abilities. They don't want us to remember and know that we're incredibly powerful. No, they just want us to do it the way he told me, she told me I should do it, etc. Why? Because in that way, our energy gets sucked and we have no power to create. We just go to work every day and do the thing that we're supposed to do, and there's nothing else happening. Here comes one of the most important pendulum rules. The do as I do. Do as I do. It's a very powerful rule for the pendulum. Whenever we're just doing what we're dressing the way we're supposed to dress, we're speaking the way we're supposed to speak, we're doing whatever we're supposed to according to God knows what you follow, you're just following a pendulum. And the reflection here is to say, what could I do different today or tomorrow? Let me do something different that reminds me that I have the power to just, even if it's limited, do something, behave in a different way, something that reminds me that I have the power to change the usual routine and not just do as I'm supposed to do. Do as I do. Whenever we find ourselves doing as others do, we're following a pendulum rule. So remember that. Very, very powerful way to remember when we're energy trapped by pendulums. Every soul has its own individual star sector. And that's one of the most important, beautiful things to understand. There's a place where we shine. Each of us is different in a way. And the art is to find it. If the mind allows it to, the heart will find its sector. If we listen to it, we'll find that space. Allow yourself the boldness to sneeze at stereotypes, right? Whatever there's something behaving in some way, just, remember, you don't have to do it the way it's done. Allow yourself the boldness to believe in the unlimited capabilities of your soul. Sounds reasonable? Allow boldness to believe in your unlimited capabilities. Allow yourself the boldness to exercise the right to your own amazing individuality. These are all just like basic facts, basic ways to remember to live. Keep the joy and give the pride to your angel. Right, Kerry? Most important thing is sometimes when we start thinking, oh, I'm so good. Oh, I helped this person. Oh my goodness. Like imagine if Hudson in this 12-step program, you start, I was so good. I helped this person. I helped this person. I helped this person. That only brings its importance, raises your importance, which, as you remember, brings balancing forces, and then bam, something may happen to you. Importance is a tricky thing, and you already mentioned it, and we've been drilling that. So that's why it's good to say, yes, my angel. Just enjoy what happened, enjoy the satisfaction that this person is doing great, but every credit, just give it to whatever else you want to give it to. Doesn't mean don't celebrate, but it's just be mindful of that extra part of you that wants to start saying, ooh, Human thought and behavior is conditioned by dependency on pendulums. I think Hudson drilled that one nicely. Keep importance to a minimum, and act with conscious awareness. That's one of the biggest rules from reminders from reality transfurfing? Am I aware? Why am I reacting in this way? What's going on underneath? Or am I giving too much importance? Either on the outside, remember, inner importance or outer importance. Oh, I'm doing this because that person is so important. That person knows so much. He's so special, or he's revered, you know. I'm not. I'm just a single humble human being, you know. Now you're minimizing yourself. I can't. Your internal importance is, you know, or the opposite way. Some people just do it the other way. Whatever you put too much importance into either way, then you're creating disturbance on what it is. What it is simple. We're all amazing, incredible, unique individuals with choice, right? And that's it. We're all amazing, we're incredible, we're all perfect in a way. Some of us have forgotten more than others. Any shares as of now? Any thoughts? Anything that this is stirring? Any of you saying, no, I'm not that great, I'm not that amazing. I have to copy what they tell me to do. My mom told me this, my church told me this, my politic beliefs told me this, I don't know what group or whatever I follow told me this. Just be aware of that, just for fun. Do not attribute anything excessive meaning, right? Be very, very aware. Where are we putting too much meaning to? Because that's importance, right? Whenever we push too much importance into something, we disturb its essence. The same thing. You do not need importance. Pendulums do. Pendulums are this is the latest, the trend, the most important thing. Buy the latest thing. This is what's been bought by everybody during Christmas. This gift is gonna go away. Whatever it is, don't forget the last one. What is that? Importance, right? Importance. All right. It is known, not effort and steadfastness, but conscious intention that keeps importance at zero. Ooh, that's a big one. So it's not about working hard. It's not about that. It's just being aware. It's being aware, okay? And then just moving towards what we want with ease. There are many examples that when you go to the restaurant, get your menu, you choose something, and you just simply expect it to come. This other thing of, ooh, I have to say the right way. I have to tell the waitress with all the little details of how it's prepared and how do I want it, and you know, that's when you start making it so complicated. And what if the chef forgets? What if they don't have the lettuce that I want? What if you know, and something that's as simple as order. Now, that's a very simple example, but what is it? This is one of those questions to think. What is something that you want to manifest this coming year? But you're like, no, I can't. Or I have to work too hard. You know, I don't have enough hours of the day. I don't have the skills. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough resources to make this happen. That is important. All those thoughts are important. I don't have, I can't. That's important. Inner importance. So remember, the trick here is, we'll keep going. In chasing after other people's standards, the mind becomes all the more divorced from the heart. Right? Keep following people, you get distracted. We don't listen to our true nature. You will acquire many hidden virtues by attuning your mind to the soul's frail. The soul's frail, we're going to be talking about in the next few chapters, so really, really pay attention to this. Who has an idea what the soul, what a frail means? The soul's frail mean? Anybody got that concept good? Jolanta, you remember? Share it with us. Bring us your energy, Jolanta, and unmute yourself.
Well, yeah, you know, the frail of the soul, which is, you know, the essence of the soul, I think that's the attribute of the soul that exactly knows, you know, what the soul is here for. And I really think this is like the really the key element of, you know, of the whole, pretty much key element of everything. Yeah. And obviously in here, right, to understanding the transurfing, right? Because, you know, we're talking about the heart and mind, and in two aspects. First of all, how important that unity is, right? So we all know that, you know, but the second thing, which is really probably goes into that soul, is what are the conditions of the unity, right? The Vadim, he speaks about the conditions of the unity. And it is much easier to fulfill the conditions of the mind because we have the tools for that, right? He gives us all kinds of tools, right? The slides, the affirmation, the frame, which is difficult to do, and everything, right? So we have the tools to kind of, you know, put our mind in the best condition to have the unity with the soul. But the soul, the part of the soul, it's a little bit more tricky because we really are not in charge of the essence of the soul, right? So we do say that the soul knows, okay? And you know, that knowledge of the soul is not something that the soul acquired, right? So the knowledge of the soul is already something that the soul was, well, let me say, imprinted with. And I don't know if you noticed that, you know, Vadim really shies away from, you know, from the spiritual aspect of things, but, you know, here and there, he kind of has to say things the way they are. So he says himself that the essence of the soul is the equivalent of the essence of God. Okay, so in that aspect, you know, so we have that essence of God, and that essence of God is, it is imprinted with a purpose. So in order for us to function in the whole universe in the certain order, otherwise if our soul was not the essence of God, the whole world would be a chaos. So this is a great design, I think, on behalf of the Creator. And so it gives us those extraordinary qualities, like the power of the creation, but we have to understand that at the same time we have the extraordinary limits, because, you know, we are pre-printed with a purpose. The soul knows what it is. So as far as our, you know, collapsing of the reality, I am sure there is no problem with, you know, materializing any objects, you know, any material objects in terms of wealth, you know, houses, cars, and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think we really can tell that we can have whatever we want, because if that indeed was true, then the world would become the chaos. So I think we need to keep that part in mind, that there is a, you know, the soul is created in a way pre-programmed for the best of the soul and for the best of the whole creation, which is, you know, which is extremely exciting. And our purpose is to really to find out, you know, what that purpose of our soul is, because then once we know that we can that transurfing would really be a breeze, because I at least to me that appears to be the part that we all stumble upon, and the part that we need to spend the most amount of effort in terms of allowing ourselves to be attuned to that knowledge of the soul, which is a knowledge of Creator. So I mean,
Thank you.
that's
Thank you. Thank
my
you. Beautiful.
understanding.
Good. Yeah, that's great. I kept thinking of the drop of water going to the immenseness of the ocean. Yes, we could call it whatever you want to call it. The fascinating thing is this: as a drop, you say, what's its essence? And especially once it finds it and connects with its power, which is the ocean. I think I think the wonderful thing, Yolanda, is that this is just way beyond, but it's still, I believe that once you truly connect with your essence, and let's say, just to keep it simple, I recognize as a drop of water that I believe I am, in a given moment, I'm moving like a drop of water, right? It's a human form, and I connect with that power, and I know that I could do anything. I don't need to. Once you truly connect, all importance on chaos or the fears that you mentioned too, they disappear. You can't. The moment you in any way would consider using any of that power for harm or damage or destruction, you're not being truly, in connection with. You're just self-importance and all this stuff. So that theory of, chaos and all this stuff, in my opinion, is not truly there. That being, that being is not truly back to its essence of water or a godly essence. It's beautiful. It's all beautiful. God is fine. Once you're back into your essence, true essence, where this, there is and there isn't. It's all just, an amazing, beautiful ride. Then there's no fear of it.
I probably, this is like wonderful, the comparison, but I think maybe I would even, I personally prefer the comparison to the snowflakes, because it is a water, but it has that certain form, and
Yep.
that form, it's kind of like unique to all of us.
Beautiful.
So it kind of allows to see us. We understand the oneness, but it kind of underscores, that picture, at least for me, and underscores the uniqueness of my own soul. If I think of myself as a snowflake.
I like the snowflake. Oh, we'll use the snowflake instead of the drop of water. I love it, because he makes it, now it gives it some are big, some are smaller, some are wider, some are, beautiful. I like the snowflake better rather than the drop of water. There you go, another version of the same thing. So beautiful. Thank you. I love your share. I love everybody's share. Remember, our minds are sharing an appreciation of something, our understanding of something. That's so beautiful. I love that. So any shares as of now? Yes, please go for it.
The conversation is reminding me of something that I heard many years ago at a church service, and I don't know if it's in the Bible or not, but it says something like, everything you need to know is written on a tablet of your heart. And that always stuck with me, that that something is already there, was already, like Jolanta said, it's already written on my heart. I don't have to go outside of myself to find it. But I think as kids, we know that. And as we're being, brought up in societies and having to fit in and do things a certain way, we maybe move away from that. I'm also reading and part of a Julia Cameron's Artist Way group. I've read that book many times, and it's really all about, like Hudson said, like she talks about the inner child in the heart. Like if you listen to your heart, and that is where your creativity is, that's, you follow that, you can never go wrong. And it's like you do end up having exactly what you want because it is your soul's calling. And every soul did not come here for the same exact thing. And so that's where I see that there wouldn't be chaos if we really were going for what is written on our hearts, individual hearts, which I think in some way collectively connects to each and every other person that, you know, Kerry and I may not want the same thing, but maybe in my getting what my heart is calling me to have, that it somehow helps her to have what she's feeling in her heart that she's called to have, to be, do, and have. And so that just really stood out for me, is that go to my heart. Just remember, just keep remembering and reminding myself to go to my heart, go to my heart, go to my heart. And I don't know, it's just something so beautiful about that, because I think I grew up for so long thinking, oh, if I go for something that's being selfish, and me having something means that somebody else doesn't have something. And it's just, that's a pendulum. That's a lie. It's not true at all.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Love it. Love it. Thank you all for your shares. Yeah, this is amazing. Yeah, I love it. Thank you for your shares. In a state of unity, listen to this. The heart sings and the mind rubs its hands in satisfaction. That's beautiful, right? Focusing on the means, the mind places a fatal cross on the elusive goal. This is something powerful, right? We mentioned money, we mentioned cars, we mentioned different things. You know, we tend to confuse, we tend to say, this is my goal. The goal has never been money. The goal has never been any of those things. The goal is how we feel, how we're gonna feel, the experience that we're gonna have, how we're gonna move in essence, in experience and beingness, how we're gonna transform, you know, in our path, you know, as beautiful snowflakes that we are, right? And the moment we said, no, I need to collect more snowflakes, or go into a refrigerator to stay cool the way I should be as a snowflake, then that's when we run into trouble, right? It's not necessarily that. So that's beautiful. So remember, be mindful of what's your goal. You know, the goal really is that experience. Is really that experience of your, you know, what you've been talking about, listening to that we are in essence, you know, and then let it flourish, move in that direction, act from that place. Yeah, yeah. There's more. These are just, we're touching the surface on this concept, on these chapters. Deep later, we're gonna focus on something that you touch upon, Shauntay, which is the fact that sometimes achieving that amazingness relies on helping others achieve their amazingness. And then magic happens. It's beautiful. And it touches on the essence of the frail that Jolanta was talking about. Allowing yourself to have is the most important condition to fulfilling your desires. Allowing yourselves to have. That sounds simple, but it's powerful. What if I could just say, I'm gonna eat tonight? What if I said tonight I'm gonna rest? If I say tonight I'm gonna do this, tonight I'm gonna have this that I want. You know, I'm gonna study, I'm gonna learn this, I'm going to whatever it is, instead of allowing some limitation to keep it away from it. Yolanda shared with us not too long ago, I want to have this white car thingy that I saw, whatever, magic happened. You know, so beautiful, right? We first need to allow ourselves to have it, see it, done it, enjoy the experience of it, and somehow, that's what it says. Don't think it needs to be this way. I need to work hard and do this to eventually be able to afford mine. It doesn't work like that. You just first need to allow yourself to have it, feel into that, you know, and that ticket, that lotto ticket that somebody gave you once, you know, had that little thing, that car that you were looking for, or that house, or that trip, or that whatever craziness. The way how is it going to manifest is always a mystery in a way, but it will manifest. But it's this continuous practice and learning and reminding ourselves of that. Despite all its attractiveness, if something weighs on you, the goal may be false. This is another interesting pearl here, right? Before you make a decision, before you're going to do something, feel into how what your soul is telling you, right? If there's dissatisfaction, it's a sign that something may not be right. Maybe that's not your path. Maybe that's not the way you should go. Remember that? This is an interesting distinction, very, very powerful. Think about moments where you made a mistake in the past. Do you remember some decisions in the past where you, oh man, now you said, oh, that was a mistake. The invitation is to think a few moments before you make that decision. Remember a few moments before you made that decision. How were you feeling? And you probably will remember that he told you, don't do this. Don't go in that direction. Don't say yes. Hold yourself, whatever. There's always something telling you, oh, be mindful. It's amazing how that works. At the same time, he tells us that just being fully comfortable with something doesn't mean that it's a goal. Right? So always be mindful. That's where the mind comes out. Yes, there's something about checking if this is prudent to do financially, right? There's some space for that, but always pay attention to discomfort or comfort of your soul. Anybody has had experience with this concept? I think this is a great one to share. Anybody has had any experience regarding Kerry? Let me just call you on you, Kerry. Any experiences with this inner discomfort telling you, guiding you in a way?
Yes. Right before I gave the people next door permission to do the renovation from hell, my bullshit detector was going crazy. But I thought it was going crazy on the wrong thing. And I went ahead and signed the papers and I didn't listen to me. He steamrolled me. It was, an intentional situation. But I remember knowing he was lying, but I thought he was lying about a different thing. And it was right there. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. And that happens all the time, but we don't listen, right? We don't listen. It's rough to listen to the flute when the drums in the band are making so much noise, right? But that's the invitation to learn to listen to that part of us. Never believe anyone who expects you to change yourself. And this is such an interesting one. I've been diving into this one. It's not necessarily about changing ourselves, It's not about change. Somehow it's a very interesting game of words. What's any thoughts or any insights into this? Who wants to volunteer? Never believe anyone who expects you to change yourself. Any thoughts on that one? Takers? Never believe anyone who expects you to change yourself. It's nothing. There's not much to change. You are you, right? Some of us have layers of stuff on top. That for sure. Okay, but our essence, you don't have to change your beautiful essence, who you are, to go on, come and fit my model, fit me. Come, I'm expecting you to, to change and then be like me. This could be in relationships. Oh, if he or she was just different, no, there's no such thing of, I'm expecting you to change so then we'll be happy, or in any other way that you can imagine. Yes, Kerry, were you raising your hand? Yeah.
Only if you're not already sick of hearing from me.
No.
I used to be married and the person I was married to didn't like me and didn't appreciate so much about basically everything about who I am. And it was a not great relationship, obviously. And I was visiting Australia and because my dad was dying and we were having a school reunion. And I went to the school reunion and I had my married name. And I remember one of the guys from school said, "What's this Kerry Noon bullshit? You're Kerry Smithies." And there was something about that moment that just reminded me who I am and who I was. And it was amazing looking around the reunion. And even though we all looked a little older, we really were who we were. And just having that moment of being reminded, I don't even remember which person it was said that, but it was such a gift.
I love your share. So please bring it on. You know,
Okay.
beautiful contributions and loving them from the heart too, which I love. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Let's move on. Inner discomfort manifests as heavy anxiety and feeling of being burden and oppression. You just shared that with us. A feeling of inner comfort does not signal an unequivocal yes. So be mindful of that. Just inner comfort does not necessarily mean go for it. A feeling of inner discomfort signals an unequivocal no. That's the big lesson here. There's inner discomfort, that's a no. When considering your goal, do not think about how prestigious or realistic it is, and do not think about the means to achieve it, right? We kind of drill on that one as well. Not about the money, it's not about how prestigious or how amazing I'm gonna look or whatever it is. Give your attention to how comfortable thinking about it makes you feel. That's the idea, right? We talked about this in during the slide chapter last time. You know, it's not about seeing a slide. It's not about seeing what you want there in front of you. You have to be in it. Know that you have it already and experience it. You know, if it's a home that you want, you know, see the garden. Imagine yourself, you know, the garden doing stuff, or in your own bed, in your own room with the things that you want to have in it, experiencing, feeling it, smelling it, you know, fully. You know, that essence, that you want to experience, assuming something like that. Okay, it could be just something that you want to do in some place. So you see yourself in that place, serving a community in some way, and you know that it just pleases you, that fulfills you. That is amazing. So it's always about how you feel about it. Any affirmation should be accompanied by corresponding feelings. So reminder, affirmations alone that have no power. We need to bring the emotion. The head alone, you know, I'm strong, I'm happy, I'm healthy. You know, we have to bring that power, that emotion, bring the feeling into it. Again, another example of how to connect those two. Yes, Hudson?
One of my teachers, he calls it resonant suggestion. That, yeah, try, if you're going to do affirmations, make it your own words and something that you feel resonates with you. Then it is much more powerful than just, you know, saying some affirmations that people tell you to, you know, say.
So resonance what?
Resonant suggestion.
I love it. Yeah, beautiful. Love it. Thanks, Hudson. That's beautiful. Every affirmation should be positive and have a narrow focus, right? I want to be wealthy. Yeah, that's a little too broad, you know? What is it that you want to have? Just say it, you know, just enjoy it, you know? And should be positive, of course. Focus the affirmation on the cause, not the effect. You know, that's an interesting, a little tricky concept. Do you have a, you know, it's always, you know, whatever it is, you know, it's in the essence. They always said, don't expect that if this happens, then I'm going to have this. No, always focus on whatever it is. You know, if this gets fixed, then I'm going to be happy. Then you focus on the happiness if this gets fixed. No, we have to work on the cause of that will lead to whatever it is that when that's an issue. Formulate the affirmation in the present tense. Remember, that's the power. We have to experience whatever it is fully in this moment. So we said in the present moment, positive with emotion. Those are some of the characteristics of a of the slide of the manifestation here, allowing ourselves to have and being very, very aware of the level of importance that we attribute to it, right? And it reminds us one more thing. When the will to have is free of the desire to have, the pendulum has nothing to hook into. Because that's the tricky part. Whenever it's, I must have this because it's some part that I really want to have it. That's the desire. I don't want to have this. I want to have this person. I want to have this experience. I want to have this thing. I must have this, and you have all that extra energy. Then that energy is what's going to be used. Remember, that's what pendulum uses to hook and steer us away from that. Oh, you think that we have this one? Then let me pull you in some different direction. Okay. So it's very, very important, very, very important to be aware of the importance that we place into whatever it is that we have. Actually, one of the rules of manifestation for creation in reality transurfing is to accept defeat. This is a concept that drives some people nuts, right? Is the accepting that is, that it's possible that this thing won't happen in the way I wanted it, the time that I wanted, the particular exact way that I wanted. But I still want it. And it's okay, by the way, if it doesn't happen right now in this moment the way I want it, okay? But I know it will happen. It's something like, what? But it's a wonderful, amazing thing. It may not come in the exact way that I'm planning, but I know it will manifest because it's inside me. It's just the fact that we have the ability to imagine or wish in a way, or I should reframe that. There's no wish, there's no desire. Something that I have the intention to have, just the fact that I can see it done and manifest it and experience it fully, that means that it's there somewhere in the universe. It just needs to be brought up to reality. And that happens with the magic of outer intention. But if I start bringing out all the energy and I must have it, balancing forces come in, and then poof, somehow it pushes me away from the sector where that is already manifested, right? You calmly take what is yours without insistence. Just like you take the post from your letterbox. Do you love that one? Just go walk and get your mail from the mailbox. That's just pretty much it, right? You don't start saying, oh, did I get that letter on the mail? Did I get every day? You start walking, running. Is it going to be there? Oh my goodness, I'm looking forward to go to the post office, you just walk, do it, take it, it's yours. That's the invitation. The invitation throughout this book has been, you can create your life the way you want to design it and live it. As long as you're aware of the feeling, the emotion that comes out, as long as you're aware of your essence, as long as you're aware of, how, aware, as long as you become aware of importance and what other energies are pushing you, as long as you listen to your heart, take comfort or discomfort of your heart. Sometimes we may be full. We may think that this is what we need to do because that's what we were trained, right? The mind thinks that this is what it is. And we start going in some direction. That direction will always be adjusted, if we listen to our heart. And that's the invitation. When the mind listens to the heart, that is like the perfect, momentum, this perfect circumstance where then magic could happen. When you can open, it's like when you get the perfect combination on a lock and pop, it opens, and then whatever was locked in there opens up. Yep, that's what it is, Jolanta. Beautiful. So we have a few minutes for some shares. Coreena, you've been quiet, but you stay with us. That's amazing. We celebrate having you here. Any thought? Any emotions?
I'm just soaking it all up because what I think I've been doing, I just need the quiet time to do it. So my next client's rescheduled, so I've got half an hour after this to to sit and do that.
I th-
Yeah, it's a lot to take in, but I love it. It feels good. If that makes sense. All of this feels good, right? You know, yeah, that's my share. All of this information and feeling, and yeah.
Beautiful. Take the time to read it, take the time to practice whatever resonates with you, you know, and especially just to connect with your beautiful uniqueness, snowflake essence, you know. And,
yeah, I often wonder what palpitations mean when I think people's not listening to their hearts, or that's my interpretation anyway. And then, you know, sometimes I'll get them like, oh, haha, hello, you know, listen to me. Because in Chinese medicine, the soul is the purpose, and there's two types of soul, and the heart, you know, the spirit lives in the heart, or the shun. So it's all, I mean, that's my belief system too, that it all makes sense, that it all just gels together. So it's, yeah, feels good.
thank you, Coreena. Beautiful. Shauntay, any shares?
I can't think of anything right now, but I'm just really grateful for this book. It's kind of more of a roadmap. Like, I've read a lot of books and I've taken a lot of classes, but this has really made some things that kind of maybe I didn't really get from those other things. Like, the importance was something that really stuck with me, like I said before. But it for me, it's not just a book to be read, but it's just, for me, it feels like more of a roadmap of how to get from where I am to where I want to be. Understanding what pendulums are and how they have impacted my life and how to unplug from them. And then it also does tie into other things that I have read over the years, or courses that I've taken over the years. But something about this has really opened up my mind in a new way, to let go of my mind in a new way. So my mind is opened, but it's also opened in a way where I'm learning to like put it in a different place, where it's not the ruler and the controller, but it is the tool for my heart. It is. I heard someone say, and I'm probably going to get it really wrong, I think it was Greg Braden or somebody like that, who said something about God destroyed a people because they didn't build the tower to the heavens high enough. And he made the comment that the tower was the place from the heart to the mind. And that when we really take the time to build the tower from our heart to our mind and make that connection, that's when we are really aligned with our God self, or whatever the language you want to use around that, our higher selves, our soul. Yeah.
Thank you. Jolanta, any shares? You're muted, love.
So yes, I think the lesson also for us is that yes, we can use heart as a guide and we can use the mind as a guide, although in different categories, right? So to use the heart as a guide, we just pay attention to our feelings, because that's how pretty much heart communicates to us, through our feelings. So positive feelings, you know, we probably okay. Negative feelings, you know, we're definitely not okay. So I think frequently to simplify, if we don't want to go too deep into all these different things, as a practical guide would be see how I feel in the certain moment, right? If I feel well, I am most likely on the right path. And if I don't feel well, I'm definitely on the wrong path. And then, as far as using a mind as a guide, I think we can use the mind to find and define so-called the objective truth. Let's say we frequently say drop importance, drop importance, drop importance. So what is that importance, right? That importance for each one of us, it's gonna be different. And I think we can use the mind to kind of define, what that importance is. Obviously, if you're in some kind of the position of the leadership, or you have people that are working under you and this and that, you understand that the certain level of the importance is necessary. So I think the mind is good for us to figure out that sweet spot where that importance is a true reflection of that importance, or is this importance even either overinflated or underinflated. So I think the mind is gonna help us, if we, obviously if we have, mind that it's, tries to be in touch with the objective truth. So that's just basically what I wanted to say.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Kerry, love your last beautiful share for tonight.
I don't think I have anything more. I tend to have to try to catch myself on the importance, because I get all overexcited and I'm like, no, bring that one down, bring that down. But yeah, it's such a wonderful experience reading this and different books, and just like Shauntay said, you get the different messages from the different places, and then all of a sudden something distills. And one of the things actually that Shauntay said earlier as well is this idea that if I have it, someone else won't. That's another thing that I know I've been working on that seems to be slipping away. It's all just a matter of degrees, and then we'll find something else. But yeah, it's just that wonderful. When the student's ready, the teacher will come, and it comes from all the different places. It's, yeah, a blessing.
Beautiful. Thank you, Kerry. Okay. Hudson, last minute share.
Yeah, reading this just has really made me very sensitive to pendulums, and I see everything in terms of energy anyway, even my higher powers. So it's been really exciting, actually, at this time with all the political stuff that was going on here, to like, oh yeah, that's a pendulum and that's a pendulum, and my family's a pendulum and everything's a pendulum. And like some days it was a challenge, like, okay, I'm going to do what he said. Okay, this person, they're entitled to their opinion. It's okay for them to be here. I keep, going over my things, the things that he recommended doing, and by golly, it worked. It all worked. So that I didn't give my energy away, and that was extremely important to me. So I'm really excited about this book and how he continues to talk about it. And that, yeah, it's just, it really made me a lot more aware of myself and my energy, and how important it is right now for, like you said, to stay consciously aware.
Thank you. Beautiful. Cindy.
I have just been really enjoying listening to everyone's comments, and I loved this chapter. I love how he's woven the pendulums back into it, and especially about the inner and outer importance, and how the heart is about feeling, and the mind is just, about doing and, directing us and how to bring the two together. And there's that window of opportunity to bring the two together to create the outer importance. And that's where the magic happens. And so this is one of my favorite chapters so far to date. So yes, I know we're at the end of our 90 minutes. So I'd like to see what Terisa has.
Thank you. You're muted, Teresa. Double muted.
Yep. Well, I love this chapter. I love the idea that that we're all, it's everything is a creation. It's always, we're always creating. So whatever we are allowing inside of us and putting out there comes together. So it's like, it could be good, it could be bad, but we're always doing it. So we need to know what we want, and we need to be willing to have it. And if we keep putting that out and keep our energy clean, and we're moving into these great chapters coming up that will keep that alignment for us, but it's just clear sailing, knowing what we want and having that outer intention and taking those steps towards it. So I'm excited to continue the study with you all. We dive into chapter 10 when we meet again, which will be January the 14th. Next time we would meet is Christmas Eve. So I do hope that you get together and, just really spend some nice time with your people. I know that it's limited, and I don't know, I have this feeling some people might be alone, and I just hope that you'll get on Zoom, or you'll make connection in some way and utilize some of the tools. Perhaps some other people that are maybe feeling the same way, and you could connect. Perhaps go onto WarriorSage.com, download one of those dojo kits, and pick some of the things that you enjoy out of it. You don't actually have to follow the script word for word. You can piecemeal and just say, I would love to do these pieces and spend this amount of time. But either that or dyads. Just go through the list of dyads that we've shared with you, and pick out some that really jazz you, and whatever we can do to create connection, right? Because that's what this season is about, and it's pretty lonely with all that's going on. So we got to be more creative. So I'm encouraging us to be creative. Just so you know, this month, our activation that we intend to work on together is abundance. January is relationship. But I'm going to say, just pick one that is of interest to you. And even if you just open up your journal and go through the activation privately, solo, I've done that. It's a real treasure as well. But next time we meet, Goals and Doors, chapter 10, there is a lot of meat to it. It's a really great chapter as well. And as you know, youtube.com/user/WarriorSage channel is where you can find the replays of these. So whilst you have this month between our meeting, if you want to dive in there and catch up or get some extra gems. I don't know, like someone recently was reading a book like this and said, I think there's some extra pages in here. I don't think we could read it too many times. Some of us have read it numbers of times, but there's lots to be gleaned from it. But it's wonderful to be here with you, and thank you for taking this time for you tonight and diving in and being with all of us.
Beautiful.
And Juan, final words.
I love you, ladies. I get a kick out of you. Love your shares. You're bringing it to life, using it, in your lives, and then on those around you. That's the idea here, right? We're all diving into this. We're all learning. We're all, every time that I review this, every time that I say it in some way, I always make another distinction. And when you participate and bring your experience, then we all learn even more. I can learn my resonance suggestion for today, and many of the shares and amazing snowflakes and stuff are flowing around. So it's all amazing. So love you all. It's a great time to read this. As you were saying, it's like a guide, goals and doors. New year, all year, new year. You know, spoiler alert, have fun with it. You know, use it to design what's coming. You know, not just a year, the decade, the life. You know, have lots of fun. Love you all. Take care.
Thank you.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy New Year.
Okay.
But
Bye.
thank you.
Bye. Bye, everyone.